let's look into the research that disputes astrology and find out if that research is valid. So let's look at the study number 1. And this is probably the most infamous or famous study that is used to discredit astrology. When someone says, hey, no, astrology has never been discredited, people are like, no, what about the Shawn Carlson study of 1985? He did a double-blind experiment, and because it's a double-blind experiment, and all of a sudden it's just, what, more valid? It was a good idea, his experiment, but let's find out what actually happened. So he did 2 parts of it. In one part, he used 193 subjects, and they were giving astrological personality profiles, so their natal chart interpretations, and were asked to pick which one of these was their own, effectively testing whether an individual recognizes themselves in their chart readings better than random chance. In the other part, 28 professional astrologers were each given a person's natal chart, along with free personality descriptions from a standardized psychology test, the California Personality Inventory, CPI, which, by the way, before I go on, I have to mention, surprisingly, I do have friends that are qualified therapists, qualified psychologists in the United States, and I've asked around and none of them know what CPI is, which means that it might have been more widely used in the 80s than it is now, because there's other tests now. I think the Big Five is the most popular tests used to identify personality, but in themselves, these tests have a few interesting problems. They're not perfect, is all I'm going to say. So the astrologer in the study had to select which of the free profiles best matched the person's chart, and also rank how well each profile fit. So the second part is probably the most important part of the whole experiment. Let me just rephrase this and describe this to you, so you can have a really good imagery of what actually happened. So these 28 professional astrologers, which I'm pretty sure we don't know the names of unless they came out and said they did the study. No. And then they were given 3 different personality descriptions that were summaries of the CPI test. So they weren't actually the results of the CPI test. They weren't actually the graphs that were produced from those testings. They were summaries that Shawn Carlson wrote himself. Just important to know. So both the subjects and the astrologers failed to do better than chance